Okay, so today I wanted to talk about my favourite game. Now, this game isn't necessarily a game with a breathtaking open world to lose yourself in, an interesting story to throw yourself into, or a fantastic cast of characters to connect with like you might find in Red Dead Redemption, Call of Duty Zombies, or the Mafia games. Instead, this is a game that taught me about leadership, confidence, and as cringeworthy as it may sound, the importance of friendship. And this game couldn't possibly be anything other than Dying Light. Now, I do just want to mention very quickly that the release of this video has in fact coincided with the release of my Dying Light tribute. This is one of my favourite tributes that I've made so far and would really appreciate any support on this or that video. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, I really would appreciate if you could drop a like, and if you really go on to enjoy this video, then the subscribe button is always there. I'm going to be breaking this video down into a couple of sections, and you can find timestamps for each section in the description of this video. So first of all, I wanted to talk about how Dying Light introduced me to the concept and importance of leadership and selflessness. Now, while you may think that I'm going to go ahead and talk about Kyle Crane or Kadir Suleiman for this section of the video, or even the contrast in leadership styles adopted by Jade and Raheem Al-Damir respectively, you may be surprised to find that I'm actually going to be focusing on Harris Brecken. Now, Brecken is the leader of the group of survivors in the game known as the Tower, because they inhabit a tower. Now, when we first get to meet Brecken, and just for some extra context here, Brecken is also a runner for the group, he is being tended to by Dr. Lena, and it is implied that he has been wounded on his most recent run. We can actually see this exact incident in the Dying Light Run Boy Run trailer. Brecken gets absolutely bonked on the noggin. So back to when we first meet Brecken. Both Dr. Lena and Jade are trying to persuade him to let someone else go on the next run, so that he can rest and recover from his wounds. I'm going to play that scene for you now, and whilst watching it, I do just want you to keep in mind how, before Brecken even knows Kyle Crane's name, he is already unwilling to let Crane put his life on the line. And while I do understand that this could be taken as Brecken not trusting Crane yet, obviously there is an argument to be made for that being the case, I personally see it as Brecken's selflessness showing through.
Brecken and a team of runners went after an airdrop last night. He lost the rest of his team to biters, and then Rise's men ambushed him, beat him to a pulp, and stole the drop. Now Brecken wants to go after the next drop himself, but we can't let him, and you've got to back me up, okay?
For God's sake! You can't even walk straight! We need you alive, you idiot!
Okay, we're going in. Act confident. Brecken, Lena.
Maybe you can get through to him.
Jade, who's your friend?
Kyle Crane.
Look, Brecken, the last thing we need is for you to go back out there. We can figure out another way without jeopardizing you. Right, Crane?
I'll go. I'll do it.
Right. Yes. Crane will go. He'll be happy to.
Jesus. No offense, friend, but you're as green as grass. You can't just...
Crane will manage. He'll start in the right spot.
As the story develops and Crane becomes more well known around the tower, he's tasked with meeting Rise to strike a deal, and just before Crane sets off to Rise's compound, Brecken tells him to
find out what this will cost us and come back in one piece.
Once again, you can tell that Brecken cares more for the safety of Crane than the actual cost of the deal, as evidenced by the way he emphasises Crane getting back in one piece over what the deal will cost. As a 12-year-old, which I was back in 2015, I was relatively impressionable, and Brecken's selflessness leadership style rubbed off on me, and I can actually see how that changed the way I looked at and interacted with the world. Another scene involving Brecken which has always stuck with me is this scene here.
This is where we get the announcements about the antacid drops. And they've just stopped. There were kids in there! Frozen. Lena had to step up. Maybe she should be in charge. What the fuck, Crane? I'm no leader. I'm a goddamn parkour instructor.
Wait, so all the free running... Wait, that was you? Brecken, you showed these people how to survive.
Do you know what my pockets were full of when I showed up in Haran? Fucking business cards. I was hoping to drum up some more students. Maybe get enough so I could save up and buy a house. Instead of that poxy little flat I've been renting.
Now, the main reason I believe this scene stuck with me so vividly was because, as you can tell, the Haran virus has obviously been festering for some time at this point. Haran has completely changed, as has the lives of its residents. And the comment that Brecken makes about the fact that he initially came to Haran with business cards and the intention to drum up some new students shows that while the entire world has essentially been flipped upside down, Brecken still feels guilty about his reason for visiting Haran being solely business. Which, just to clarify, the intention of going abroad to generate more business isn't inherently bad at all. And due to the fact that Brecken still sees his initial intentions as selfish, he undermines the fact that he taught most of the people in the tower how to survive, as in the world of Dying Light, especially at nighttime on higher difficulties, your safest option is to run away from volatiles, and the only way to do that effectively is through the use of parkour, which Brecken, being a parkour instructor, taught the residents of the tower. And that's why I attribute most of what I know about leadership and selflessness to Dying Light. Brecken specifically, but then again other characters also show both positive and negative leadership styles, which of course is also something to learn from. But for this section of the video, I really wanted to focus on Brecken. And with that, we made it to the end of the first section of the video. I do just want to mention before we jump into the second section, that the first section of the video is the only section that actually talks about how the content of the game influenced me. As you'll come to see in future sections of the video, they're primarily talking about things that happened to me because of Dying Light, which in turn ended up influencing me. And with that out of the way, I now want to talk about how Dying Light helped me improve my confidence. So, I want to go back to the mindset of my 2015 self, nearly 6 whole years ago. I had just started secondary school, which for you Americans is middle school. I had joined a school with absolutely no one from my primary school, so I knew no one who was there. And even before being put into that scenario, I wasn't the most confident person out there. I had always been quite shy. Now that we've established that, I want to explain how Dying Light allowed me to, and I hate using this term because I think it's so overused, break out of my shell. I had always been someone who preferred to play games by themselves. I enjoyed narrative solo games, and even cooperative games such as Call of Duty Zombies I still played by myself for a plethora of reasons that I would love to touch on in another video, so if that's something you're interested, let me know in the comments section down below and I'll be sure to make it happen. So I very rarely played with other people, and Dying Light had a very interesting feature that would just allow people to drop in and drop out of your game. And one day I just happened to be playing some Dying Light, I was running around Old Town, and someone dropped into my game, and for some reason, which to this day I still cannot explain but I am so thankful for, I decided to be confident and invited them to an Xbox Live party. They ended up joining the party and we spoke for about a minute or two before I realised they were live streaming on Twitch, which as someone who was very shy, very quiet, and had for some reason spontaneously sent an invite to some random person who I was playing a game with, to suddenly be thrust in front of 300 to 400 live viewers was, and I can't stress this enough, absolutely terrifying. But I stuck with it. I stayed in the party, I was interacting with the chat, and over the course of about half an hour to an hour, I established a character, which I portrayed, and everyone in the chat really seemed to enjoy it. The streamer as well really bounced off of the character I was portraying, and I was surprised to find myself enjoying it as much as I did. So after playing together for a couple of hours, he ended his stream and we went our separate ways. Until a day or two later, when I got a message from him saying he was streaming some Dying Light again, and would love if I came back onto his stream. We streamed a good few times together over the course of about 6 or 7 months, and I thoroughly enjoyed each and every second of it. So if somehow, Gregory, you are watching this is a thank you from me, from the bottom of my heart. Now, I did try to find an old VOD on Twitch of me and Gregory playing together, but unfortunately his Twitch channel no longer exists. He does, however, still have a YouTube channel under the name Gregory Tellus. I hope I'm saying that right. But he hasn't uploaded in over 3 years, and unfortunately I couldn't find myself in any of his content on his channel as there's no Dying Light content there. There will be a link to his channel in the description below. If you feel so inclined, it would mean a lot to me personally if you went over and just dropped him a subscription or a couple of likes on some of his videos, because if I didn't happen to be playing Dying Light on that one day and send that one party invite to that one random person who just so happened to be in my game, it's very likely that I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel and I wouldn't be making this video here today. So once again, a big thank you to Gregory Tellus. Now this is the perfect segue to take me on to the third and final point I want to make today, and that's that Dying Light taught me, and I know I'm going to say it again, and I know how cringeworthy it is, so just bear with me here, but Dying Light taught me the importance of friendship. So obviously, while I did play a significant amount of Dying Light with Gregory, both on and off stream, where I truly learned the importance of friendship from Dying Light was by meeting none other than Will, and Toby. The three of us often try to recall exactly how we met, whether it was via a group post on the Dying Light Xbox page, or just by dropping into each other's game sessions, which I personally think is what it was. It can't be denied that we met as a result of Dying Light, and it also can't be denied that we played an embarrassing amount of Dying Light together. And when I tell you we played a lot, I mean we played a lot of Dying Light. A lot of Dying Light. A lot of Dying Light was played between the three of us. Like, a significant amount, like a lot of Dying. Okay, I'm not doing that again. It was funny the first time. It might have been funny the first time, but I've got to calm down. We did play a lot of Dying Light together though. And while the three of us did meet online and we were simply friends on Xbox Live for a couple of months, we eventually exchanged mobile numbers and social media profiles, and both Will and Toby have since become two of my best friends. And as we all know, 2020 wasn't easy, we couldn't go out and see people very much, so to have good solid friends like that to rely on really made lockdown just that little bit easier. And then again, I very likely wouldn't have met either of them without Dying Light. So that is just another one of the reasons why Dying Light is one of the most important games to me. Now, there's not too much I can say in this section of the video besides Will, Toby, you guys are absolutely amazing. I truly couldn't ask for better friends, and we've probably played far too much Dying Light together. So that does more or less bring us to the end of this video. This video is an absolute passion project of mine that I've wanted to do for the best part of the last 2 years. But I thought I would save it for this weekend, as if you didn't know, last Thursday the 10th of December 2020, was my 18th birthday. And I thought, in the last 18 years, what is the single game that stands out most to me? And it would have to be Dying Light. And while I'm sure Dying Light 2 is going to be absolutely phenomenal when it comes out, I've already made my peace with the fact that the original Dying Light will likely be my favourite game for the rest of my life. As it's not just a game I enjoyed, it's a game that made me who I am today. Now, just before we wrap up this video, I would like to mention that this video is dedicated to the entire Techland team, Gregory Tellis, and of course, Will and Toby. So with that all said, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, drop a like on the video. If you disliked the video, drop a dislike on the video. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next video.
Holy shit.
The creation of one's own rules.
Stupid fucking kid!